What if I told you Hollywood is hiding its strangest love story? Tom Cruise, Ana de Armas, together in a way no one saw coming. Not a rumor, not a coincidence, but something so unexpected that it made insiders go silent overnight. No photos, no statements, no proof, just one sudden twist that flipped their entire story and left fans asking what happened behind closed doors. Nobody saw this coming. Just when fans thought they had Hollywood all figured out, two of the biggest names in the industry, Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas, became the center of a story no one expected. In an era where celebrity relationships are usually announced with flashing cameras and viral headlines, this one didn't arrive with noise. There were no red carpet debuts, no official statements, no social media hints. Instead, it began quietly, almost invisibly. It started with whispers from film sets, crew members noticing long conversations between takes, short, unplanned sightings in public where the two seemed comfortable but cautious. Subtle moments that most people would overlook, but not their fans. A shared smile, a brief exchange of words, the kind of interactions that made people pause and ask, is something really happening here? Tom Cruise, the action icon known for his discipline, focus, and legendary privacy, and Ana de Armas, the rising star admired for elegance, emotional depth, and modern charm, seemed like an unlikely pairing. Their careers, their personalities, even their public images felt worlds apart. And yet, something about their connection felt different. It wasn't loud. It wasn't dramatic. It didn't follow the typical Hollywood pattern of glamorous appearances and carefully staged moments. Instead, it felt controlled, intentional, and mysterious, almost as if both of them were fully aware of the spotlight, but choosing not to step into it. Fans began to notice how their interactions were never careless. There were no exaggerated gestures, no attention-seeking behavior, just small, meaningful moments. A glance that lasted a second too long. A quiet conversation away from the crowd. Always respectful. Always calm. No drama. No scandals. Just two stars moving in the same orbit, as if drawn together by something deeper than coincidence. At first, many assumed it was purely professional. After all, both Tom and Ana are known for taking their craft seriously. Tom's reputation for perfection and dedication is legendary, while Ana has built her career on emotional authenticity and thoughtful performances. It made sense that two artists with such discipline would connect on a professional level. But as time passed, the pattern became harder to ignore. The consistency of their interactions, the comfort in their body language, the way neither of them ever dismissed the rumors, yet never confirmed them either. The silence itself became part of the story. And then, something changed. What truly caught everyone's attention was not the romance itself. It was the way it started to shift. Instead of growing more visible, the connection became even more private. Fewer sightings. No shared events. No public acknowledgement. In a world where celebrity relationships usually grow louder over time, this one did the opposite. That shift raised questions. Had something ended? Or had something deeper begun? The mystery only intensified. Fans were left analyzing every detail, every appearance, every absence. Some believed the relationship was fading. Others felt it was evolving into something more serious, something worth protecting from the chaos of public attention. And in that silence, speculation exploded. But one thing was clear. This was not a typical Hollywood story. There were no headlines fueled by controversy. No leaks, no scandals, no carefully planted photos. Just two people choosing discretion in an industry built on exposure. And that decision, intentional, rare, and powerful, is exactly where the story takes its strange twist. Because sometimes, the most fascinating stories aren't the ones everyone can see. They're the ones that choose to remain just out of view. At first, their connection appeared to be purely professional. Both actors share a reputation for taking their craft seriously, often placing their work above everything else. Tom Cruise is widely known for his obsession with perfection, performing his own stunts, preparing endlessly, and pushing every project to the highest possible standard. Ana de Armas, on the other hand, is admired for her emotional authenticity, discipline, and dedication to becoming fully immersed in her roles. From the outside, it made perfect sense that two artists with such commitment would naturally respect one another. Industry insiders began saying that the two bonded deeply over their approach to filmmaking. They reportedly spent long hours discussing scripts, character development, and the responsibility that comes with being at the top of the industry. It wasn't casual conversation. It was a kind of dialogue that only happens between people who genuinely care about their craft. Those who worked around them describe an atmosphere of mutual admiration. Two professionals recognizing something rare in each other. They were also said to spend time talking about training routines, physical preparation, and the mental discipline required for demanding roles. Tom's legendary work ethic and Anna's intense focus created a shared language between them. People close to them described their conversations as for fans who were used to seeing celebrity relationships unfold in front of cameras. This felt confusing. Usually, when two famous people are connected, the world is invited to watch every step. The first public outing, the first official photo, the first interview where they finally confirm everything. But with Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas, none of that happened. Instead, the story grew quieter, more distant from public view, and far more mysterious. Even more surprising were reports suggesting that their bond was no longer just about romance. According to insiders, what connected them was evolving into something deeper, a personal alliance built on trust, ambition, and mutual respect. It wasn't only about emotions. It was about understanding each other's worlds, pressures, and long-term goals. Two people at the top of their careers, finding meaning not in attention, but in alignment. Some close to them hinted that both actors were quietly rethinking what relationships in Hollywood should look like. Less about headlines, less about public validation, more about purpose, growth, and emotional stability. Instead of letting fame define their connection, they appear to be defining it on their own terms. For fans, this created a strange emotional reaction. People were confused. How could two of the world's most recognizable stars possibly be connected without showing it? In a culture where love is often measured by visibility, their silence felt almost unbelievable. Some began to doubt whether anything was real at all. Others wondered if the relationship had ended before it even truly began. But those closest to them told a very different story. They described their relationship as quiet but powerful, not dramatic, not performative, just steady, intentional, and deeply rooted in respect. There were no emotional outbursts, no public conflicts, no carefully staged moments with cameras. Instead, there was understanding, patience, and a shared awareness of what fame can do to something fragile. And that's what made this twist so powerful. This was not a love story built on public affection. It wasn't about being seen together, trending online, or feeding curiosity. It was a connection built on privacy, emotional maturity, and a mutual desire to protect something meaningful from the chaos of celebrity life. In many ways, it challenged everything people expect from Hollywood relationships. While others chased attention, they chose distance. While the world demanded proof, they offered none. And while most romances grow louder over time, theirs became softer, calmer, and more guarded. That choice alone set them apart. Ironically, the very thing that made fans question their relationship is what made it so compelling. Because in a world obsessed with exposure, choosing discretion is rare. Choosing silence is powerful. And choosing to protect something personal, especially when the entire world wants access to it, requires intention, trust, and emotional strength. This twist didn't weaken their story. It transformed it. What once seemed like a simple Hollywood rumor became something far more intriguing. A connection that refused to become a performance. A relationship that existed not for cameras, but for meaning. And perhaps that's why their story continues to fascinate. Not because of what the world can see, but because of what it never gets to. As the mystery grew, so did the opinions. With no official statements and no visible proof, fans were left to fill in the blanks themselves. Some believed the relationship had quietly ended before it ever had a chance to become something real. Others were convinced it was never romantic to begin with, just a respectful professional bond misunderstood by an eager public. A few even suggested it was a strategic friendship, possibly connected to future projects or shared ambitions in the industry. The lack of information created 1,000 different narratives online. Every small detail was analyzed. Every absence was treated as a sign. One day, people were sure the connection was over. The next day, others claimed it had grown stronger in secret. In the age of instant opinions and viral speculation, the silence surrounding their relationship only fueled the noise. But here's the truth many people overlook. Not every relationship needs an audience. Tom Cruise has spent decades under the microscope. Every chapter of his life has been watched, discussed, and often misunderstood by the public. Ana de Armas, though younger in her career, understands how quickly admiration can turn into pressure and how fame can reshape even the most personal moments into public property. Together, they appear to recognize something most celebrities eventually learn the hard way, that too much visibility can damage what matters most. Instead of allowing the world to define their connection, they seem to choose something rare in Hollywood: control over their own story. Rather than chasing headlines or feeding curiosity, they appear to protect whatever existed between them. There were no public declarations, no carefully crafted interviews, no attempts to shape the narrative. Whether their bond was romance, deep friendship, or something uniquely personal, it was clearly important enough to keep private. That decision alone made their connection stand out in an industry built on exposure. For some fans, this approach was frustrating. People wanted answers. They wanted confirmation. They wanted clarity. But over time, something shifted in the way the story was seen. Fans began to interpret the twist not as confusion, but as evolution. This wasn't about showing love. It was about preserving it. It wasn't about proving anything to the public. It was about choosing peace over performance. In a world where every moment is documented, shared, and judged, their silence became more meaningful than any statement ever could. There was a quiet maturity in that choice. It suggested that whatever they shared was not fragile, but valuable, not something to be displayed, but something to be protected. And in an industry where relationships are often shaped by publicity, that kind of intention felt almost revolutionary. Ironically, the very thing that made people doubt their connection is what gave it depth. Because when a relationship doesn't seek attention, it forces people to look beyond appearances. It challenges the idea that love must be visible to be real. It reminds us that some bonds are built in conversations no one hears, in moments no one sees, and in choices made far away from cameras. In the end, their story stopped being just about whether they were together or not. It became about what they represented. A reminder that not every connection needs validation, that privacy can be a form of strength, and that sometimes the most powerful relationships are the ones that exist quietly away from the world's expectations. And in a culture where everything is shared, their decision to remain silent may have been the loudest statement of all. So what does this strange twist actually tell us? It tells us that Tom Cruise and Ana de Armas may be quietly rewriting the rules of celebrity relationships. In an industry where love stories are often measured by visibility, headlines, and public approval, their connection seems to move in the opposite direction. They are showing that connection doesn't need constant validation, that real bonds can exist beyond cameras, beyond gossip, and beyond the endless noise of social media. Instead of allowing the world to define their relationship, they appear to have defined it for themselves. Whether what they share is romantic, deeply personal, or